I'm on my way. Let me shut this tab up. How's it going, everybody? How you doing? How's it going? Hello. Hello. I would say top of the morning too, because that's just something silly I always say. But it's not morning time, but it is for somebody out there. Somebody who happens to run across this stream here. And so top of your Sunday to you. How about that? Okay, I got to fidget. I have to fidget. That's what I do. I just never did get into those fidget spinners. I was just like, what the hell are those things? Hello. Hey, A. Aguilar and Angela Davidson. Just me. Thank you so much for being here. Donna, always, thank you for being here. Waiting patiently for me backstage. I was gonna start my computer over and then I was like, no, let's try and skip that part. And just I am not trying to reset audio and all that jazz, right? So I hope you guys had a good weekend. It's good to see you. Hey, Miss Dora, how are you? It's good to see you. Great day, Mom. You too. I'm finally at a live I can stay on for the entire time. You better watch out what you signed up for. We don't ever know how long we go here. Just kidding. I mean, I really don't know how long we go, but I need to try and shorten them up to an hour and a half because because you get more uh, reach, you get more views, it gets further. People are like, oh hell, a 3-4 hour live. I'm down. I'm game for an all day live on other people. If I'm interested in it, then I'm there. I'm there for it. Hello, Karen S. How are you doing? Was wondering if Lori and Chad can even communicate, or has the court system forbidden that? From my understanding is this is just, and I'm not an expert. I am a family member. Okay. So this is just me. Well, I'm not just me's in the chat, but I'm just me, Kresha. But my understanding is that they always could, but I think that whenever like Lori's attorneys filed to, have that um, in-person meeting they wanted to arrange and have some guards there and yada 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 and the attorneys, but privacy so they could finish their conspiracy, in my opinion. How you want to go about this, Chad? um so I think that this is a case, or this is an instance or an example of technicalities and what does the word always say? Semantics. I think maybe her attorneys didn't ask the right question. So the judge was just like, no, you can't talk to co-conspirators or whatever. But so, and that's just me. I really don't, I don't know the legal part of it, but I kind of think that's where, I don't know. Again, I don't know. um, I don't ever butt cut my hair, so I don't know what the hell's going on with that. But I hope that helped. I mean, that's how I learn, is just by reading other comments, other people who comment, in other chats all over the place. I learned so much from just collective, you know. There's no I in team, but it sure does take a village, that's for sure. And I'm so grateful for this village. We're the village people. I'm just kidding. Let's not do that. How many of you are like YMCA? You're welcome. I'm just kidding. Hey, Brenda Piru. Good to see you. Philly. I feel like I never, give you I never address you more. And so I apologize for that. It's nothing, I'm like, oh my gosh, Philly was there. I do recollect, like who's missing, kind of, you're like, oh, I haven't seen so and so in a while. I wonder if they're doing okay, that kind of thing. But I mean, you get used to seeing the same familiar faces, and I love and welcome new people. But it's so comforting to me to see those of you who've been around for forever. We bonded. You're my family now. So welcome to the family. It's dysfunctional as everybody else's. Come on in. Wipe your feet at the door. Hey Donna. Hey Trace. Donna, I'm listening and I'll be on when I get home. You be careful, okay? Trace, be careful. Hey, Kristen. I was looking for my notification for tonight's live, and when I didn't see it, I went to Krish's page and I wasn't subscribed anymore. It's been happening to me too. So hashtag me, us too. I sometimes just because of that, like whenever I go visit a channel, I'll just click it. Just, I don't know. Just now I just check it. It's kind of like checking the doors when you leave your house. My mama used to get me to do that all the time. So now I do it all the time. And I'm like, this is her thing, not mine, but now it's our thing. Right. And now I miss her so much. And Chad's trial is due to start on April 1st, which was my mama Trahan's birthday. So that's her Aries ass being like, gotcha. No, you are the fool, Chad. That's one thing that I'm very grateful for is that Uncle Charles did. There's a picture of my brother with JJ. He's about, 6 years old, and or maybe 5. It was 2018, and Uncle Charles brought JJ over to my mama's house, and so she always asked about him, asked for pictures. We'd get pictures. She had him up in her house, on her desk. She loved her grandbabies and great grandbabies and great grandbabies, and I will always treasure that moment because that's just how Uncle Charles was. Lori wasn't there, and again, I didn't ask where she was because I was just like, I don't know. She wasn't sucking all the air out of all the oxygen out of the room, so it was a bit different, and I'm sure that I don't know if he did it behind her back, or I have no idea like what the agreement was on that. But my mom was there, and my mom Trahan was not my mom's mom, so it was her ex mother-in-law actually. But there's good pictures, and my brother, he locked eyes on JJ, and that's his only biological son, only child. He doesn't have any more children, and it's just very special. I'm very glad that I witnessed that amongst, other times. Just, it's those times. But they're good. I mean, I'm getting a little choked up right now. I've been like that a little lately. I've been a little emotional. I actually, by chance, watched it was a parole hearing. I don't even know where it came from. Just it came on the, it auto played on my YouTube, and I got into it. I was listening to it while I was working, and it was this guy from Angola State Prison here in Louisiana, where I'm from. And I mean, you heard the whole hearing go down. You heard opposition family members and people that were in opposition of him paroling, making parole and getting out. And you hear his mom who's in her 80s, and I mean, just, it's heart-wrenching. The whole process, I mean, it bothers me. It really does. I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, yes, I want Chad and Lori and whomever else, if ever else, the people who have my family's blood on their hands, I want them to be held accountable. I think that any normal person in this situation or similar would want the very same thing. It's what you want. But then, you have the whole death penalty thing. That's out of my hands. It's something that Chad and Lori did to themselves. They have themselves to thank. If you don't want to be in this pickle, then you don't. Well, let's not get into pickles. But anyways, where's KJ? But you don't put yourself. You don't hurt people. Okay, you don't take anybody else's life or lives. You don't plot and scheme and do shady stuff behind people's backs because it's just not right. If you're unhappy, by all means, go to the damn divorce doctor, the divorce lawyer, you know what I mean, and file for your divorce. Make sure that, there is a national database now that I didn't know of until this happened. And every one of these, pretty much all these true crime cases that I followed and have watched over the years since this happened, I'm like, I bet they had life insurance, I mean, that's what follow the money. Follow the goddamn money, because that's what's happening. Okay. It's either some bitter divorce, custody battle, and it's control freaks. If not, they, decide to take one's lives. If it's even children, even their own, baby Zeke. Okay. I can't even talk about that. It's not even my family, but it's just so, what the frick, it bothers me. And I know it bothers a lot of you guys too. Because you guys are empathetic and compassionate people. And when people are wronged, especially children, and a lot of you were, a part of this journey, this nightmare, right along with us. And I know that. I was very well aware. And you guys, I looked at you guys like God's army. That's what you guys were to me. It's like a barrier. And I felt like I was protected. I had God's army with me. I don't know how to explain it. I did share it on a Mike Stroud video that I did, a pre-record, and I explained kind of I'm not a damn visionary, but I've had experiences. And it was similar to like that. I don't even know what to call it, because I don't talk biblical. It's just not in my wheelhouse. Talking is not even in my wheelhouse, but it was footprints in the sand type thing. It's just like, oh, God's carrying us. That's why I don't feel him or see him, or and that's me. I believe in God. You're welcome not to, or you welcome. Everybody's welcome to their own beliefs here. I just don't like throwing shit at other people. It's just, and you can't force anybody else to believe what you believe. Okay. That's just a fact of life. Get over it. Okay. People have their own journeys. You can't tell a narcissist that they are narcissistic. You can't tell an alcoholic that they're an alcoholic. You can't tell a drug head that they are addicted to drugs. You can't tell your wife, Lori, that she is cuckoo for Cuckoo Puffs and that she needs an intervention. You can't do these things because people aren't ready to accept these things on their own. You have to become aware of it yourself. And some people just don't have that in them. They don't know self-awareness. Whatsoever. And I'm one of them. I mean, there's many times where I'm like, oh, hell, I didn't even realize that about myself. And I've got till the day I take my last breath to continue on this difficult research. It's what it is. So, yeah, God's protection is God's protection. I found out the truth. Yeah, you don't need a church. You don't need a medium. You don't need you don't need anybody. You just, whatever source is to you. You don't have to be a man in the sky. You don't have to be all these, what other men have told us has gone down. I don't believe in all. I just, but I did before all this. So through this difficult journey of Lori and Chad's crap, I also have been finding myself in this. I found my voice that I did not even know that I was not aware. I was not self-aware that I longed to have a voice, to be validated, to be acknowledged. I didn't have and it's not about me. That's just it. I mean, it was just like, hey, this is huge, and this is my family, and you, I mean, I, joined different Twitter. All I had was Facebook before this. I had MySpace, a score ago, 20 years, however long it's been, and I always spent more time decorating my damn wall. So I never really went far with that. And I had Facebook for since 2010, and that was my only mode of doing social whatever social what the hell are we doing? Social networking, that's what it is. But so I was introduced to Reddit. I was introduced I actually have two different Reddit usernames. I don't even know how to stop using both. I'm just like, yeah, it's me. When the moderators are like, wait, I don't know how to change the usernames. One of them just assigned itself. I mean, you just go, and I mean, that's in my experience, what I did, I was just going. I was just going. I jumped feet first into this. I didn't know where. I didn't know what their beliefs were. I didn't know who the cult, so to speak, was. I didn't know what about the rest of them. Okay, Lori's locked up. Okay, what about Chad? Okay, if it's a cult, it's more than two people. Where's all the other people? And then as I became more and more and more like, holy crap, I started to see the bigger perspective. I was like, oh, it's a big ass cult. Oh, none dare call it a cult. And then I learned, in my perspective and my experience, it is not productive to say, hey, you're in a cult. Doesn't fare well with people. It's derogatory. It's negative. It's got negative connotations. And I mean, I get it. I get it. Labeling people, that's another thing that I learned through this, was the labeling. I don't know about, like, when John DeLynn says neo fundamental, I'm like, what? What? What is that? Or Republican, Democrat, MAGA. I don't know what that is. The conspiracy theories, I'm just like, what? I just did not grow up in that kind of environment at all. My friends, my school, my upbringing, I don't know. We were just country, I guess, or coon-ass. Down to earth people. I'll tell you what, whenever we had Hurricane Laura and Hurricane Delta, both them hookers, hurricanes, that ripped through my hometown in 2020, one in August 29th, and the other one October 8th, I think. I don't know. Left for the first one, didn't even know there was a hurricane, almost a Category 5. It actually did hit Category 5 status, but insurance companies then have to, like, pay you for the catastrophic, damage. So they just kind of lowered the wind speed just a little, right under a Cat 5, just so, it would benefit some insurance companies, I do believe. If it's a conspiracy, it is what it is. If it's not, I just think it's the truth. People are shitty. So, and money talks and bullshit walks. That's where I'm at. Well, hold on. Let me pick a side here with my hair. Which way are we going today? Anyways, it's just in that weird, I need to get it colored and stuff, which is, I only did that one time since I've met you guys. Anyways, you just learn a lot of things about life, your world, the world you live in, the world I live in, and such beautiful people. Humanity is really beautiful. It's not all doom and gloom. I know it's depressing. I know it's dark. We hear nothing but the dark, all these tragedies, all these things and murders. And I mean, we kind of put ourselves, and I mean, I say we put ourselves, but we are passionate and we are driven because we don't like when people are wronged. And we do seek justice. Justice, it turns out, is another one of those things that looks different for everybody on this planet. Everybody's version of heaven is not the same. Everybody's mainstream. That word mainstream, I was like, oh, okay, mainstream. Mormon, just okay, whatever. I have a whole different opinion about what I mean, that is one of my questions now. What do you consider mainstream? Oh, what do you consider to be mainstream? It's okay to ask those of people. It's the only way you can know. It's the only way you can find out is by asking questions. There's no stupid questions. Trust me, I ask a lot of them. Trey says, I know it sounds weird, but I too grew up with next to no politics. I couldn't to this day tell you what my family is. Don't think they voted. I mean, I was just not long ago. I mean, I'm 45, so I was probably about 40. And I was like, Mom, are we Republican or Democrat? I really, really don't know. Uh, I'm a, I'm just a truther and I call bullshit. I don't care who they are, what party they belong to, what church. I really don't care. But if they're doing shitty things, I'm like, I don't, you can't bullshit a bullshitter either. Allegedly. We can be bullshitted. But, it's just, there's so many things that I've learned just personally. I can only speak to my experience, right? Just like you have your own. We all have our own. Uh, everybody's lives are different, and we all have something to offer. We all have something to bring, different perspectives, different strokes for different folks, and like KJ says, which hi KJ, if you're here, or if you drop, do a replay crew or what, hey, um, you're the only you're ever gonna be, and um, I'm like, oh hell, that's scary, thank God, and then whenever I put all jokes aside, it's true. Nobody on this planet is like you ever, and so we're unique. We all have different experiences growing up, everything, all walks of life. And I love that we can talk about difficult things because it's not whenever they're uncomfortable, these topics. I'm just like, what the hell? But murder is messy. That's why we're here. It didn't end well. We know the ending. And we know the players, we know how they've responded, we know how they have testified. We know how unopen and unsharing and very selfish and, I believe, in my opinion, narcissistic and grandiose and all those things. They all have this persecution complex, this projection. They have this the superiority warrior, fill in the blank, God complex, Messiah, whatever you want to term it. It's the superiority. And when you get to that type of person, in my opinion, again, a layman, I don't have degrees. I don't have professional licenses, but I do have life experience and I can read a room and I can pretty much kind of read a person, whatever they decide to show you at whatever time, whatever's relevant, but I don't know. You just kind of size people up and you decide within a couple minutes for sure if that's a person that, you're like, "Oh, I really like that person. I really like her. I really like him." You know? You can kind of tell if you want to hang out with them again. And that makes me think of Melanie Gibb and Lori, and just Melanie started hanging out with Laura. I'm sorry, Melanie started hanging out with Lori. Brandon had testified to that at Lori's trial. Just Melanie Gibbs there with her family at their Christmas. It's family Christmas, and he's just like, all right. And I mean, we all know if looking back at that at hindsight, at that time, I mean, the ball was rolling. Lori had already been sealed to Chad in the temple. She was talking Mormon, and that talk, which I call Mormonese, No, I'm not trying to offend anybody. It's just, I don't know what else to call it. That made her, and this is just one of those things. It's another barrier that I believe the church arms its members with. It, right? I don't know. They have their own language. They have their own definitions. Second coming, y'all, if there's anybody that comes out of the Mormon sphere and says that the second coming, just know it's bullshit. Not just because you know it's bullshit, but the second coming in Mormonism is so different. It's not the same thing as what I knew to be the second coming. It's just not. There's 5 different stages of a Mormon's second coming of Jesus Christ. Theirs is called the Great and Dreadful Day. Ta-da! You don't know these things as an outsider, as a never Mormon. You don't know these things, but those language barriers, the linguistics that they speak in that language. They talk about Nephi and freaking Laban, and you're like, who? Who is that? I don't know who these people are. How is that Christopher Columbus? What? What in the frick? What? And in Missouri? Really? That's all. I mean, I don't know it all. I don't even know this much. But I'm just like, that's a bullshit story. If I ain't never heard a bullshit story. But when you're born into that and that's all you know, then, and you're taught that everybody outside of your church, outside of your belief system, your religion, your ward, your language barriers, all of us, we're the Gentiles. We are just Satan's spawn, right? And so a Mormon is there to basically bring us into the new covenant. You want to know what the new covenant is? I know it's going to sound crazy. It ain't my crazy, but this is what's happening. They are ushering in the second coming, all right. It's just not the one that's in the Bible or that's spoken about in Revelation at all. It is, in my opinion, and I found out that this is also a conspiracy theory. And again, here I am, just like, oh, okay, well, I was just following the truth. I don't sit there and try to I don't buy all into everything. I research and it goes through my little filter system, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. And I mean, I collect information as I go. So do you. That's why we're here. And we share ideas and opinions and beliefs and stories and experiences, and that's how we learn from one another. You're not going to get that from AI, although it can help some things. AI is pretty cool, but then I'm like, this is going to bite us in the ass real quick. And you see these things starting to change. You know, when you back up from the from the little tunnel vision, I do, I kind of step away from the project, so to speak, and I just kind of broaden my horizon, like broaden my perspective, and I look at it, the whole world, I'm just like, oh, hell, we're nothing but a teeny little speck compared to the world's population, but there's a lot of sinister things going on. And even with this very people that are involved in the same circles as Chad and Lori, Ken Krogue. You got, the late President Apostle M. Russell Ballard. Okay. Those are elites. They're Mormon elites. There's Catholic elites. There's all kinds of elites. This is just my view. You can take it or leave it. You can call me whatever you want. And just don't call me late for dinner. Okay. And it's not scary though. It's not, no, I mean, yes. When my Uncle Ed used to talk about the 144,000 and tribulations and things like that in my early 20s, you know. I was like, "Oh shit, oh my god, this is so scary." But really, if you just become educated about it, if you just you know, just read the things, read and learn for yourself. Do your own research. Don't just listen to everybody. Don't just listen to one source. Listen to what everybody has to say. Take what you need, leave the rest, you know? Um, you don't have to buy into it. You don't have to buy all into it, but there's truth in everything, I do believe. Even in the very things that Lori has said, Chad, Melanie Gibb, Melanie Pulaski, right? All these people, there is truth in what they are saying. You just have to kind of pilfer through and see what they're, you know, how did they say this? Why did they say this? You know, was it to, you know, feed me their narrative? Or, you know, is it just Lori talking amongst her like-minded people, her friends, her fellow church members, right? So, I mean, we're like-minded too. We're a cult. I mean, if you it's just the terminology, and I think it's dangerous. To me, the conspiracies theory label, the gaslighting, the quick judgment to label somebody as, "Oh, hell, that bitch is cuckoo," or, "Oh, they're extreme," or, "They're black, they're white, they're Asian, they're Puerto Rican, they are" it really? I mean, it's just a label. It's a label. When babies come out, they don't see all these, you know, it's a learned behavior. And, you know, we grow up in a very, um, racist and biased and sexist see, there's new words that I don't usually say, but just these I'm gonna call it a labelistic society, and we are so quick to judge others. I mean, and I'm still gonna do it. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I don't do it, because I do, especially whenever I, you know, review all these interviews of these people, of the circle around Chad and Lori. Hell yeah, I do. You damn right I do. I bring my snark. I bring my sarcasm. I also bring compassion and empathy. I just don't show it all the time. I do care, or I wouldn't be here. You care. You wouldn't be here. We're trying to get to the bottom of it all, because it's happened again, and it's going to happen even more. I mean, it's happened. It's happening over and over and over again, and it's happened so many times before. Why? Because in this case, I'm dealing with an entity, a corporation, a very, very, very wealthy, rich, powerful, influential, well, you know, in a heartbeat, um, uh, institution that gaslights, manipulates, lies, cheats, steals, defrauds. Um, that's my opinion. And I didn't start out with this view. I started out to see where Chad and Lori's beliefs differed from the church that they belonged to their entire lives and grew up in. And we're still, you know, I learned all these things as I went, that they were still, Chad was still a member and was serving a calling when he got excommunicated. The second day of his, no, that's the day they sent out the letters, but he was excommunicated, Chad, publicly via court TV. He was excommunicated after the murders occurred. And so when you're dealing with people who I've learned are very to the letter of the law, you've got to ask. There's an instance of John Pryor asking Melanie Gibb at Chad's preliminary hearing. He's like, "Okay, do you remember this?" "I don't recall. I don't recall." I mean, that song goes through my mind all the time. It's a country song. I don't recall a time in my life, right? Okay. I mean, me and Jason sing it all the time when we hear her. I don't recall, because that hooker does not ever recall. But call me, call me. I'll tell you the truth. She said, Melanie Gibbs said that to Ray Hermosillo and Ron Ball. I'm like, they're there and you're not doing it now. Ding, 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 ding. So this is what we're dealing with. Hey, DJ, so good to see you here. I actually, DJ sent me some numbers, dates, and I put them into my Canva app so I can try and figure them out. I know. I wish there was a math whiz that had a mind like yours, DJ, but you're the only you're ever going to be too. Because I know it could make a whole lot more sense if, you know what I mean. It's a lot, but there's too many similarities with would you call it the kill code? I'm just like, yeah, there's that. Interesting. It's just very interesting. It's ritual. I'm gonna try not to say too many trigger words that will shadow ban me some more from YouTube. It really sucks. The knife stands alone. The knife stands alone. Right. Truth is not popular. It's really not. But if you have the latest goss, if you have some dirt or blackmail or just some dirty shit, if you have that on people and you're messy like that, everybody flocks. I'm like, oh, but I just don't, I cannot entertain that. I don't have that time. I'm just like, I'm good. I've never been, yeah, some tea. I've never been like that. I've always kept my circle small. I didn't know I was keeping it small, but yeah, I did and do. Um, I don't know why. um, and I've always trusted, and I actually have gotten along and worked in more jobs where there were like 500 dudes. I can deal with 500 whiny dudes, but don't put me in an office with 2 chicks. I'm just like, oh my god, oh my god. The hormones are flaring everywhere. Everybody's just hormonal, and yeah. But I just talked a whole 42 minutes. Wow, without even news, anything. I feel bad. Damn, that's a long time. Minus the long intro, right? I hate gossip too. Or the people that are like, so did you hear? And I'm just like, what? Why can't you just, I want to hear things the right way. I don't want to hear things any kind of backdoor way or sketch, or it's just messy. It's messy. I don't do it. I've got, if you get caught up into it, you're just like, oh, hell no. And you dig your ass out real quick and then you distance. I just don't have that energy or that time. It just sucks. And all it does is feed and fuel the fire. I'm good. I'm opting out. Right? To me, it's just smart and it's clean. It's cleaner that way. It reminds me of those monkeys when they throw poop at each other. I'm just like, oh, that's disgusting. And then you both have shit on you, and it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But anyways, again, this church, this entity, this very highly influential system that needs to be held just as much accountable as Chandler PD, as anybody else who dropped the ball in their cases, in their deaths. You know what I mean? And it's not to burn them at the stake or anything. It's not like a witch hunt. It's just like acknowledge that there's a problem so you can fix it. If you don't acknowledge that there's a problem and you're too good for your attitude adjustment, so to speak, when you're exalted, even as a corporation, even as a human being, we got problems. And so we have a lot of problems because we're dealing with an institution for sure. This is the route I took, was the church. Philosophical me, curious me, mad me, hunger for the truth for my family. me went this route. Nobody else in my family, or I don't think anybody else in the other families except for Megan Connor. I really like her. I really do. But it all boils down to the whole Mormon culture thing. So whenever they transition, and I'm just having to blanket it, not you, S.O. Connolly. I love you. You're awesome. But because of the way a Mormon is brought up, and they live in a ward, and they have the Relief Society, they have this infrastructure, okay, that they take care of one another, they check on one another. I mean, it's also toxic, but there's a lot of good in that too. So whenever someone gets shunned or excommunicated, or if a person's going through a faith crisis, and or if they're asking too many questions, okay? So when people are like, oh, um, what's her face? Christina Atwood was asking too many questions. No, Serena Sharp. And I was just like, okay, if you just expand the mind just a little bit, it goes up. It's just a learned behavior. Okay. That's all it is. Because don't you dare ask no damn questions in the church either. And I'm not a Mormon. I've never been one, but my family was. And my uncle paid very good tithing money. And he paid just like all the other people that are alive still today, paying an institution to abuse them and to treat them like shit and to exploit them and um, to enslave them. And it hurts my heart. It really hurts my heart. Just thinking about all those things, and just to shit on them, just like a narcissistic parent. That's how I look at the church. Share that many times. When when a narcissist is done with you, they are done, son. I mean, they don't even look back. Look at Lori. Look at the like-minded people. Learn behavior. In my opinion, it was at her church. It was at her home. Allegedly, it was everywhere. Chad's, I mean, the one common denominator between Chad and Lori is the church. That's because I was like, okay, why did my aunt look like that? Why did she walk in so cocky when she was extradited to Idaho, March 6, 2020? Why were her shoulders back, and why was her nose up in the air? And we're just like, where are the kids? And I mean, I'm over here in Louisiana. My fiance had just had a thoracotomy that week. A thoracotomy is huge. They took out the bottom portion of his right lung, and then the pandemic was literally, I watched it, I was on the pulmonary floor with Jason, and he just had surgery, a major freaking surgery. I didn't realize how big these things were and traumatizing all at the same time. It was just a compilation. Trauma Tour 2020 is what I call it. But I mean, you just keep going. And I don't know. I did. And I'm not saying it was healthy, but it's just, you look back, I look back and I'm just like, shit, you went through a lot, Crush K. You need to, 2 hurricanes, the ice storm. I'm sorry. Yeah. Ice storm, murders, missing children, thoracotomy, evacuation. Just name it. And my doctor died. My family doctor died, who I had seen since I was 15. I mean, that was another loss. Then my stepdad that raised me, he died. It was just, and my mama has died since. My Uncle Ed. I mean, just a lot of people have died. JJ's mom died. I mean, and so we can all relate on these things. Everybody experiences loss. Everybody experiences grief, and the family dynamics and the things, we all do. I've been, what do you call that? Estranged from my son for 6 years. from the time he was 12 till the time he was 18. Oh my God. That was hell. That was hell on earth. I mean, you can never get that time back. And I mean, just so many things went wrong. I can look at it that way. I mean, and so many things did go wrong. And then, or I can be accepting of it. I mean, I have to accept these things. I cannot change anything. Nothing was in my hands. I mean, as far as you cannot make other people, you can't control other people. That's what it boils down to. And so a lot of people have a hard time with that. And I mean, we all have that in us. I think some people a little more than others, overbearing, um, uh, lacks confidence in themselves, or what do you call it? Self-esteem, because of different dynamics of relationships. Maybe you went through an abusive relationship. Maybe you were the abuser. I mean, I kind of think we swap roles, with each relationship. And of course, maybe that was just me. Let's see, Denise, how you doing? Hey, K-Tech. With Lori acting lucid in the Arizona court, do you think her statement was all an act in the sentencing? Mm-mm. Though she's just speaking Mormonese, in my opinion. That's the barrier that throws people off. Whenever they say that they've seen Jesus in the temple, that's not what that means. Now, I've had experiences, Uncle Charles was one of them. Oh, that was a big one. I don't know how to explain it. I don't have the answers. People can label me and say, oh, that's gobbledygook, and I don't believe in ghosts and this and that. I don't know. I'm not a knower of all things. None of us are. Some of us act like we do. There's a lot of people that are like, yeah. And so I wonder, I even asked Jason something. I'm like, do you think that just maybe they haven't experienced it or something? Because I know what I've experienced, it was real. I mean, trust me, just like with all this research and stuff, I'm just like, wait. I mean, because I'm just like, this is some weird shit. And then I'm like, okay, but just because it's weird and I'm uncomfortable with it doesn't mean that it wasn't reality for Tylee and JJ and Tammy and Charles and Joe, and so many other people and victims who are not believed, who are not even believed by strangers who happen to read the Hamblin case, so to speak, read that and you're like, there ain't no way. There ain't no way. And then people are like, well, satanic ritual abuse, that's not even real. That's a conspiracy theory. And then you tell that to Tylee, okay? Because I couldn't find her in that hole that they said in the court at the trial. They were like, yeah, okay, here's Tylee in the hole. And I was just like, where? Okay, where? Tell that to Tylee. They're not here to speak for themselves, and I'll be damned. Like, I know I'm veering way off, but it still goes hand in hand. Lori said that there are no murders. There was no murder in this case, and she is right. I did not just do this. I'm just saying. In her mind, how she's justifying it, in my opinion, is that they weren't. They were sacrificed. It's semantics. It's all to the letter of the law. I believe that somebody higher up, and I mean, this is not going to be very popular. It never is. I always say that like it's brand new. I don't know how to even ask these kind of questions in the public realm. Pretty much every Mormon has left here. They're just like, yeah, okay. Because I'm sure what I say and what I ask and maybe what I explore makes them feel uncomfortable. And I understand that. But I had to draw a line in the sand and be like, okay, I can either sit here and just tiptoe and toe that line and try not to hurt people's feelings. And I still really try. It's not what I set out to do. But I mean, really, I fight with myself over this. do I make them uncomfortable just by asking questions? Isn't that kind of one-sided then? You know, I just, I don't, I'm one of those people that can check my beliefs, my whatever, everything I've ever known, my truth. You know, like if I've only known a rock to be my dad my whole life, and then you tell me that rock is in fact not my dad, you know, I'm just using some stupid example, but I mean, you know, so I understand, and I know who would get pleasure out of telling somebody that what they believe in is not real to them. You know, just like when somebody says that they've experienced abuse, no matter what degree of that is, I am not a judge. I'm not here to say and condemn them and tell them that no, they did not experience that. I don't know. I'm just going to hear them out and just be as open-minded as I can be. As I hope people are with me, because the Lord knows I bring some shit here. But I really, with Lori, I really think that let me take a sip on this one. I think that somebody that possibly just died this November, mid-November, was possibly maybe somebody allegedly, not accusing, just in the world of possibilities. There's so many, they're endless. I feel like Chad and Lori were very loyal, tithe paying, I mean, true believing Mormons. And I believe that they got duped just as much, you know, kind of like in a scenario where, you know, they say you sold your soul to the devil, so to speak. Well, you know, they still made the choices they made. You know, they're the only ones that could have been like, yeah, no, we're good. But I do believe that they were introduced via the second anointing. And I mean, again, it's something I can't prove. I have not so much anymore, but I believe that this is the modern day polygamy. And I say modern day, it never stopped. Okay, first off, it never stopped. They just stopped doing it so open, because in order to become part of the United States of America and become a part of the statehood as a state, Utah territory had to, they got a revelation. They were like, oh yeah, God was like, halt on the polygamous stuff right now. Wink, wink. But I mean, I ran across the second anointing today and was just like, bam, right here, right here, right here, right here, right here. You can hear it in Tim. You can hear it in Lori, Chad, all the people around them. Zalema said that she saw Christ in the temple. That's just code for, it's called a calling and election made sure. It's called a sure witness of Christ. It's called second anointing. It's called, I mean, it just is all these, it's messy. And there's not a lot of Mormons who come out of the church, you know, because usually it's the most devout Mormons who, if they're like true believing Mormon, it's just a matter of time before they either become an apostate or what do you call all those things? Um, you know, because because it's, I don't believe it is true. And I mean, I learned this for myself. Mormonism, and I mean, I don't know. I was born into Catholicism. I was baptized. I did my first communion, but I never adhered to a church, a building. I never looked at the Pope like he was God. I just never, I don't know. We're all raised different though. But my grandfather, and that would be Charles, and my mom and my aunts and uncles' dad, he was an extreme Catholic who shook hands. He went and studied in Rome in his, like, he was like in his 50s or 60s, maybe even later than that. And he went and studied in Rome, and there's a picture of him shaking hands with Pope John Paul. Yeah, he read the Bible 3 times before he was 8 years old. I do believe my papa was on the spectrum. I do believe I am too. But I mean, and so that always intrigues me because of how my uncle basically jumped from one frying pan into another with extreme Catholicism to extreme Mormonism, I'm sorry. And I'm just like, oh, it's just fascinating to me. What did I just see? I talking about, I talking about the SRA stuff separate from the LDS stuff. But if you come across that Candy Girl documentary, I call it faux, and everything Fiona claims has been debunked. She used see, now that's shitty. You know what I mean? I did actually see that name. If it's on Substack, is that the name of it? I've actually read more into the hunting, the most dangerous game, that I'm just like, because it resonates with me, not my experience, but with the sketchiness and the lack of data and evidence. You got Alex feeling comfortable enough. Oh my gosh. Alex being excommunicated twice from the Mormon church. Yet he feels so comfortable enough to go and park and sit at a church just 2.6 miles away from Chad and Tammy's house, just hanging out, chilling. And not only there, FBI got him, or documented him and Zalema at another church where they parked Alex's truck or her car. I forget which one right now, early on in the case, and they jumped in a vehicle with each other. I forget again which one. There's actual photos of that from the FBI. And, I'm just like, I just look at it more as a good old boys club, and you pay to play. And there's a lot of abuse and perpetrators who are protected. We see that time and time again, and it is heart-wrenching. But they purport, this 1-800-LDS helpline. And if you're an outsider and you just happen to see that, like I did the first time, I was like, oh, that's really, I respect the hell out of that, because here at this churches, they offer even a hotline for people who have, been abused, allegedly, whatever. And they help. But then you peel that layer back, and then you're like, oh hell, this is not good. And I mean, again, I've never had to research any other religion. I don't even know. I'm just like, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. That sounds right. That's bullshit. It's just, to me, it's just a way for man to control the herd, so to speak, the sheep. And in my opinion, I know this is way out there. I know that now, but whenever I was learning about the heaven or celestial kingdom, there's the celestial, terrestrial, and celestial. There's 3 different degrees of glory, 3 different degrees of heaven. There's this bottom layer where all the murderers and the grapists, I'll just say the grapist, and the PDF files hang out, and they're all chum chum. And that's the celestial kingdom. And that's where we live today, as far as I'm aware, right? My understanding. And then you have Lori and Chad texting each other the day that JJ was murdered. And you see this weird freaking text, and it's like, hey, do you have eggs? I have eggs. Can you bring eggs? And then so a lot of people were like, oh, that's benzos. That's medication, right? Which is pretty much that's her MO. That's her, Lori's thing. I mean, she was crushing them up and, playing Nurse Jackie or whatever. sick. And there's the pattern with her allegedly doing that to, even my cousins when they would go visit, Cole and Zach, when they would go visit, giving them the Lunesta maybe, or Lunesta, or maybe NyQuil. I don't know when there, but to my understanding. And so you kind of got this pattern with this behavior. It's super sketch. And then you have Tylee being sick all the time. And I wonder. Tylee's not here to tell us. Lori's not going to tell us. She's so damn difficult. You have to read between the lines. You have to read the tea leaves to understand this woman. She's not complex. She just grew up in a freaking toxic, complex, and nonsensical culture. I'll just say culture. But back to the 3 Degrees of Glory. I think, really, have you ever seen that movie In Time? It's, quote, In Time, unquote. It's with Justin Timberlake and the girl that played in, I forget her name. It's weird. It's kind of different. She played on Big Love, actually, which I used to love watching. Man, I would go to my mom's house and we'd watch Big Love. This is before we didn't know. I didn't even know Chad and Lori and Charles were Mormon. I did not. We didn't talk about it. Anyways, I don't know. Lori did tell my daughter that she was special, though. I'm gonna kick her ass just for that. That's just one thing. I'm just like, I know she's special. She don't need you telling her that. She don't need you telling, Kelsey that Jesus loves you, but he loves me more. By the way. Okay, psycho, right? Here's your sign. Poor thing. Whew. And then, yeah, I wasn't on that list. Thank God. I have enough of a conniption just having my family on that list, and knowing that the very same screenshots that were on Lori's computer that she sent to Chad, around that same time, for some reason, I was like, Mom, my great grandfather, which is their grandfather, which pokes holes in Chad's, or maybe Tom Harrison's rating system. Maybe. I don't know. It's shared, that's for sure. Because Tom allegedly was telling Tim Ballard, who was dark, who was light, even in some of his counseling sessions, allegedly, from people who have been sources, vetted out sources, and told Lauren with Hidden True Crime. Okay, you can't make this shit up. And I'm not here with my pitchfork. Just the dude hangs around with some shady people. Okay, not my problem, but it is my problem because it's my family. And if we don't get to the root of the problem, and if people continue to deny, project, deflect, oh no, the Catholic Church is doing it. Oh no, so-and-so is doing it over there. You just look over there. Janet Russon did it. She was like, I'm not going to answer any of your questions. She's the psychic that Tim Ballard allegedly, that is alleged to have been the source for him finding trafficked children and rescuing them. Then Tim Ballard names, and I found this one, I watch a lot of boring shit. You ever heard them talk all the time? Okay. I'm like this. My mind is numb. It's numb. But once I got over that language barrier, I'm like, that's a lot of caca right there. And, I can see the bullshit now, and not all of it, but I'm like, wait, what did you just say? But Janet Russon, is alleged to have been like, and scrying. I'm talking like doing this scribbling seance, a freaking seance. In my opinion, that's exactly what I pictured going on in the temple. Never been in there. I've watched New Name Noah. I don't know. It's just weird. And I'm not, again, the sacredness moves it's off the table. It becomes a non-issue for me whenever my family is dead. Okay. It's like the beliefs get to, they go to the wayside, and the human life is up here. And I value that, especially my family's lives. I value that over beliefs or my own. I mean, just whatever. The truth is the truth is the truth. So, and people go to great extents for a long time. This is not just this group came together out of nowhere and, just all this horrible shit. By ye fruit ye shall know. I mean, and it's like it's just hemorrhaging. It's like it's surfacing. And you see it in how Ruby Frankie's son, I'm not going to say his name, but R, when he ran and escaped out of the window from Jody Hildebrandt's fort, a freaking fort, nice ass fort, but and ran to the neighbor's house. And that poor man, my heart just breaks for him. No, just, I picture him. I don't know what he looks like. I don't know his name, but I mean, you hear him trying to hold it together for that boy so he doesn't like make him panic or just everything's going to be okay. Right. That's what I got from it. And then the man loses it when he's just like, oh my God, he's got duct tape. This boy has obviously been held against his will. And the boy who's 12, who escaped from the panic room, okay, him and his sister, the ones that were pretty much targeted, in my opinion, from my view, kind of what it looked like. It's kind of the Tylee and JJ in the story. It's the kids that were the two kids of Melanie Pulowski's that were so important for Melanie and Alex to try and get in the dark of night, right? That were, being dubbed dark, and Chad was talking about making them scream. Pain is good. You hear that in Jody Hildebrandt's logic or modalities or whatever the hell that backwards shit is. It's backwards. So is David Hamblin, another Mormon therapist. So is Maurice, whatever. It's a weird name. All these people, it's like they're backwards. Light, they worship the sun, but it's like not the S. Well, it's the SUN and the SON of that. And I believe that's how things get twisted. Just a little at a time, just twist. You twist the truth. You twist the truth. You twist it to your narrative or whomever's narrative. And Lori justified, literally justified. If he comes at me once, if he comes at me twice, if he comes at you, says it right here. I can kill him. I can murder. So, I mean, it's justified using or saying the Bible. I'm like, you don't even talk about the Bible ever. And it's got to be translated correctly, quote unquote, as per Joseph Smith, somebody who said they saw an angel of light. I mean, it's just, if he were today, everybody'd be like, oh, he's a damn cult leader. I mean, that's what he'd be on the Rick Ross and on the cult websites and stuff. And, he'd be the latest second comer. That's what I call him. Crazy. Not crazy. They're just misled too. They're misled. Then there's the fearmonger. Then, the church kind of, here's the carrot. Here's your salvation. Here's heaven. Heaven's through me. You got to pass through me. I'm the troll. Pay the toll. Or we're going to throw you in outer darkness because you asked too many damn questions. Or because you were questioning like, well, this doesn't make sense. And that's just normal human behavior, in my opinion. We question things. I do, like a mofo. So I'm freaked out if somebody does not ask questions. That really, I'm just like, ask the questions. It's okay. But Anyways, all that to just really not answer anybody's question directly. I'm just on a soapbox tonight, or I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to do with this. I look like a cobra, right? With some old frou-frou hair. Frizzy. Let's see. Hey, Scarlett, how are you? Hey, Lily. Lily here. Be nice if we all sort out the truth, not comfort and power. And, right? I think we're all guilty of that. Or comfort and control, Power, yeah. Control. Semantics. it, yeah. I think they like control more, actually. I mean, I didn't fly in airplanes because I feel like I have more control getting in a crash and dying in a vehicle. It doesn't matter. It turns out, it's just, I don't know. Got to go through it. You got to find your way to the well, or to the truth, or by yourself on your own, in your own journey. And so I feel like my job in this, or my role, one of my roles, it's just like a lanyap or a bonus, or is to just share their stories, or through the research. It's like I want the truth to come out. The truth is the only thing that will actually tell the stories of Tylee Trolls, Tammy, JJ, and Joe. They're not here to tell it. And so when you have people denying it, not even acknowledging their existence in their own church, in their own, you're a child of God. Elder Ballard was like, and it freaks me out, that statement where he points the children to God, and I'm like, don't touch the damn children. And I mean, if you follow Len Packer and his research, and I mean, when I saw that satanic ritual abuse, a long time ago, and I mean, I just was like, okay, I need to kind of explore over there, but it's really weird over there. Not at Len Packer's, but I'm just saying that topic, that subject. I was just like, that's some weird shit that I don't understand. But just because I don't understand it, and that doesn't mean that it's not somebody else's reality, I'm not here to discount anybody, but I'm not about people lying and stuff. And people do it for attention. People do things, and it's usually because hurt people hurt people. If you've been hurt, you hurt other people. If you're getting bullied at school, walk it back to when you were in school and somebody hurt, or picked at you or whatever. Didn't you kind of act out and do the same thing? And without realizing it, we kind of do these things. But anyways, so I've been hurt, and I've also hurt people. Doesn't make any of us right. Doesn't, they weren't right, and I wasn't right. You can't make people love you. There's that song by Bonnie Raitt. I can't make you love me if you don't. I don't know. I didn't know all these things. I mean, this is just my perspective, and it's ever changing and evolving. And I think that's true for everybody. I really do. Tent City. Oh, okay. Estrella? Is that what it's called? I didn't know if it was like Ask Jason the other day because I was working on a thumbnail. It's what I do sometimes, all the time. I just kind of throw things, and I'm like, what do we even talk about? I mean, because everything that is what I research and investigate is further light knowledge. No, I'm not going to use Jason Mel's pickup line, along with John Pontius and a lot of other people that say they're looking for further light knowledge. Some people, from what I learned, is that it's not Jesus. Further light knowledge is elitism and it's a lot of duping. I think this church, and many others, if I just have to base it on as a collective, right? If this church is doing it like this, then there's just as many bad things going on in that next door church and that next door church, and they're all crappy. They're corporations, and they don't mind stepping on your head to elevate themselves. That's where we're at. You can tell people that they can become gods and goddesses and queens and kings and priests and priestesses. You can tell Sister Vallow, who's married and sealed, to her husband in your church, and Brother Daybell is married and sealed to your member in your church, your temple. You got the records. Ken Krogue owns like a multi-billion-dollar genealogy corporation. I was like, oh my God, this just gets shittier and shittier as we go. But it makes sense. There's a lot of things coming together. Again, it's not going to be comfortable. I know the end of the story. I know how the outcome of it was 3 members of my family were murdered heinously, egregiously, sacrificially, which is deadly. I don't care how you look at it or how you have to break that down in one's mind to be comfortable with it. It's not comfortable. It did not end with ice cream party. It ended horrible. Worst case scenario. The worst outcome one can possibly try to fathom. It doesn't make it right. And, in the system, corporation, there's oaths, blood oaths, vengeance, oath of vengeance. There's secrecy. You can't just say, hey, Tammy's my spiritual wife now because me and Chad were set up and that's how I met him, because I was awake. I was awakened. Awaken, arise. They use all these sayings, and they're awake now. And there's that podcast of Lori and Melanie, y'all, and there's even one. I mean, it's like days before. It's like September 7th when they uploaded it of 2019. That's the day before Tylee was murdered. Or again, there's a window. We don't know when they took their last breaths. I saw that coroner also on East Idaho News right before I came on. Brenda Dye. I don't know. I just hope they change things so that other family members can't just, give them two corners, their word, and say, yeah, she's just been, hers didn't feel really good yesterday, so she died. But she got shot at. Oh, but it was just a paintball gun with a hopper on it, and it was just that little, what they call him, a retarded kid or autistic kid down the road. I'm using their words. Crazy. No, they call him crazy. I'm sorry. Projection, deflection. What? Nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here. It's somebody else's fault. Can you imagine? I wonder what Chad was doing when his wife, when Alex was just going to pop up in a damn ski mask, which I saw with my own eyes. I saw a monkey mask. A lot of people in the courtroom described it. It traumatized me. And so I can draw it. I don't draw very good, but I can draw it. I went and grabbed some pictures of the artillery of knives that were found in Lori's apartment. I'm like, in the garage. And I was just like, do they need that for? What the hell? Tactical knives and this and that. And the duct tape, the rolls of duct tape. It was such thin wire. I mean, not wire, but rope. it was probably, you know, this is that microphone I had to use the other day, but you know, it's just the dynamic. I don't do fractions at all. But it was black rope and it had lime green, you know, woven into it. It's burned in my brain. I saw that the monkey mask and the Tyvek suits, getting Tyvek suits, the ghillie suits, the the Wi-Fi passwords. When you put all these things together, they're disgusting and they are a horror movie, so to speak. Jason likes my laugh too. And law enforcement or bumbling idiots, but they're part of that. I know. I mean, I appreciate their service. I do. Just I have to separate Rob Wood from his beliefs, and all the people. I have to separate all the people from their beliefs because I love them. I respect them for what they had to see. You know, Ray Hermosillo was right there and has been. A lot of the cops were there, but he was a special investigator or whatever, lead investigator. He became lead investigator. Ray Hermosillo did. And I mean, it's just my heart breaks for what they had to see and discovered them. And I look at them like, in a way, like they are heroes. But then I feel bad for them for what, you know, how that affected them and having children of their own and in such a small community and such like-mindedness going on. It's toxic. And so there's some things that, you know, that are very much alarming to somebody on the outside of that religion, on the outside of that culture, that community. And I'm like, bro, that stands out. Jen, my friend Jen, like I would send her stuff. She would send me stuff. And there was one time she was like, you're just going to have to tell me what stands out because I grew up to this. I grew up reading all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. Okay. So you see here. Holy crap, you know? And so you have to put it in the context of it's not biblical. It's, you know, Radio Free Mormon and Bill Reel had broke down and I watched that dude a long time ago. The channel that they showed, that's so crazy, right? I learned about the seven Salems. Chad lived in Salem, right? But he was not, I mean, he might have been one of the people uh, talking about how that was going to be one of the cities of light, which was Rexburg, right? But Lori, I'm not Lori, Julie Rowe, um, I just went blank. There's so many others. It's not just their beliefs. It's just there's no original idea amongst these people, and they do talk in these stories. Chad's train stream. Holy shit. When I was reading the second anointing, just the verbiage in that today, I was just reminded. I was like, here you go. Here it is. Every, you know, when she says JJ, Lori, I'm talking about, tells Melanie, he is safe and happy. It all goes hand in hand with them talking in Mormon scripture, okay, and communicating that way. I've seen the wheats and the tares so many damn times. Look at Braxton, Lori's cousin, who's just like, oh yeah, oh. And I'm like, oh crap, that's alarming to me. And he doesn't see that. I pray that he does. I hope that he does find it because it's scary. What about the rest of them? There's so many more. But, you know, Ron Ball, he just got promoted. Jason told me about it and I was like, cool. But I also had stumbled across some information. I don't know, I haven't vetted it out yet, but I mean, it's a small community. Frank Vandersloot, actually, I watched a channel again. Some people are against her now. I go wherever I get information and then I do what I do. And she had done Illuminati is the name of the channel, you know, with the triangle cartoon head. And she did a deep dive on an MLM called Melaleuca. Okay, this is the wellness company. Frank Vandersloot owns the wellness company, Melaleuca. Ian Pawlowski works at Melaleuca. Melaleuca produces essential oils. Then we hear Adam Steed come out in his interview, and he talks about how he was one of the main whistleblowers of the Boy Scouts of America in Idaho over there, where perpetrators were being protected, very protected, not only by the church, but by I gotta scratch my back, but Boy Scouts of America too. Okay. And so, looking back, you're like, oh, hell yeah, you were targeted. I think he was targeted by Jody. I think they sick Jody on his ass. I really do. I think that Ruby Frankie's children were next on the chopping block, so to speak. And I hate to be so, it makes me want to cry. Because I mean, that little boy was just like, it's my fault. Melanie Gibb, I think, or David Ward, I forget who said it, said that JJ said, I love Satan. Well, that's what you get in these backward type things. I don't know what he was subjected to. There's nothing that I can recall right now besides Tylee saying, no, Mom, not me. I'm not a zombie. Up is down, down is up, black is white, right is left. Pain is good. Jody Hildebrandt. There's some backwards thinking, backwards teachings. It's toxic. And it's also being these Mormon therapists, allegedly, according to Jesse Hildebrandt, and others, it makes sense. The church, bishops are like, yeah, when you go to your bishop as a couple, let's say Charles and Lori would have went to Gabe Bonilla, their bishop. Charles did, and he didn't help, he really softened it up a lot. When he talked to the cops, and made his little spiel or whatever, he dumbed it down a lot. He softened it. Define destroy it. Very technical, very, very, just, it's disturbing to me. But anyways, it's just another one of those things, a hurdle that you have to cross just to kind of be on the same eye level or same level as a Mormon. They look at us like we're Gentiles. That's what they're taught. They have the one true church, the one true word of God. And I'm just like, why do you have to say that you're true? Anything that says that, hey, you can believe me. I'm just like, why you got to say that? It's just kind of assumed, or it's just one of those unknown, we ain't got to talk about it, but if you're trying to convince me that you are a good person, then I'm just like, what the hell? What you really up to? Oh, thank you. Well, got them wrinkles now. I got them the hoods. I'm like, I looked at the tape. I did. I'm like, God, that's a lot of stuff you got to do to be like this. I'll just go put I just thought about this. I used to do this to my brother, and maybe why he turned out the way he did. But I was like 8 years old when he was born, so he was like my human baby doll. And you go open up a pair of your mom's knee highs, nude color or whatever, and I'd put them on Todd's head. You just pull up, and it's like, and I would laugh, and he would cry, and here we are. He would laugh sometimes, but it's just funny. Wholesome, good old wholesome stuff. But yeah, now that I'm like, oh my God, you got wrinkles and stuff, and you got to go maneuver around them. And you're like, well, if I draw the regular wing, it doesn't always turn out that way. Pretty much. Oh, curious idea says my friend got the humanitarian org in. Wait, I mean, it's hard to read it right there. My friend that got the humanitarian org in. I was transcribing letters back in 2012 for him for his blog, and inmates in Arizona were writing about the voting stuff in Spanish, telling to vote the day after. Oh, that's crazy. I don't even know what that's about, but I must be taking something, there's conversations going on. I'm just talking anyway, so isn't Chol, I don't know who that is. Oh, but what else? You reminded me, even though I don't even know what Chole is or something. Let me know. Is it like ole ole? Y'all, I forget. I think it was Trey's that made a freaking roach coach truck, right? Satan tacos. And she put our face of, maybe it was Donna. I don't even know. But I laughed and I was like, oh my God, I really would straight up. I thought about it already with the Idaho trial. I don't like how it feels. I don't like the tension inside of the courtroom. It's not my thing. I like having the choice, the freedom to go in and out as I please. I don't want to nail myself there. I want to have a vehicle. I want to be able to have an escape route. That's me, period, in the story everywhere throughout life. But so I was like, hell, I'll go stand outside, and I don't know, I always have ideas. Okay. I just do. I don't know. A very imaginative person, artistic, autistic, both, maybe, I don't know. But I was like, we have a cargo trailer. I was like, I'll just make a smash room out of it, park it outside of in front of the courthouse. We'll just have a smash room and people can just go and smash shit. It lets out aggression and it's good. It's good, constructive. It feels good to tear shit up sometimes. It does. Demo is fun. I enjoy demo. It wears your butt out. It does. That's why I like physical. I used to like physical work. Now I'm nailed to a freaking device. uh, Unfortunately, I can't like type and do stuff while I'm walking and or exercising or trying to exercise. Being physical while using my phone. I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. Just kidding. Um. I hope I'm making y'all laugh tonight too, though. I'm in a good mood. I'm in a good mood. So I have been working on this new series, right? Did I not answer somebody's question, by the way? Because I don't remember. I'm ADD too, so here I am. I did get an email from someone, and I just still have to vet it out and see who he is and what I got to check things out. He may be here tonight, and if so, just know that I did get the email, and I almost fell down. I was in Walmart and I was like, what the hell? And I was like, Jason, look. And somebody who claims that they were an OUR operative and just wants to tell their story. It could be somebody just jacking with me. You never know these days, right? So I'm all in. I'm all for anybody wanting to tell their story. You're more than welcome. Anybody is more than welcome here to do that. I would be honored. I'm just not a journalist. I'm just me. But open mic, just let's try not to do it with the phone app because we suck at it. We don't have a production team. We're just, my moderators, they're amazing ladies and they do this on a voluntary basis, and they also work with somebody who's tech challenged. Like my camera keeps going out of focus right now and I don't know how to make things go from my Apple phone to my Windows. I hate it. I don't get it. Right, Lori C? Yes, they are backwards and dehumanizing. It is scary. It is absolutely, that makes me stutter. Remember, if you've been, I know you've been around for a while. I know you have, but so many times, when I was still, and I'm still trying to figure out what this is exactly and who, and what I'm trying to figure out all the things. Not there yet. And, but I used to always say how it's not just Chad and Lori. A lot of people just settled on that. That bothered me. I was like, okay. Yeah, they're in jail. What about freaking rest of them? My mom's name is on the hit list. I have not seen anybody take their little eraser and they've not removed my mom's name from their hit list. If you read about Ervil LeBaron, okay, he died. He was in prison before he died, and people were still getting waxed. Okay, so shit happens. I love my mom, but only I can like get on her nerves and shit like that. Okay, I can only put her on my hit list. Nobody else gets to put my mama on their hit list. Much less on a serious note, Tylee, Trolls, JJ, whomever raided my family, whether it was Lori, whether it was Chad, I don't care who led who. I don't give a shit. It's called a conspiracy, right? Okay. And they worked in concert. They worked, I don't know. Lindsay Blake's really eloquent with saying all those things. So is Judge Edens. He was like naming all the things, confederate, all those words. But I know that Chad didn't come up with that. I know that much. And then you have stories of Tom Harrison doing this. You have Chad and Lori with visions of glory up their hiney holes on their little, I guess their honeymoon. I don't know, Kauai, getting laid. Gross. They're disgusting. Both equally just as culpable. I don't give a shit what John Barr says. I don't care. Chad and Lori believe in that doctrine where if you believe it, then it's real. Okay? That's that land, and I'm not part of that tribe. Just because you believe it doesn't mean it's true. Turns out. Question everything. Question every damn thing. This cult is ongoing. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, thank you. Reeling me back in. But I used to say it's not just Chad and Lori. Please. I mean, I feel like I've just been like on a soapbox or something. I'm like, hey, everybody, like signaling. I'm like, SOS, 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 please. But I don't have and I still don't. The vocabulary, I don't have the words, the labels. I don't talk like that. I don't, that's not me. I like to joke. I'm a goofball. I like to be corny and I like to laugh because it's uncomfortable. First off, it's morbid. And I have a morbid sense of humor too. I mean, it's just me and my mom. Look, when my mom would book a flight, she'd be like, she would send me her itinerary. This is a long time ago, way before all this shit happened. And she would literally, this is what we said. This is a glimpse. And I would say, so do I still get all your life insurance money? Do I have to split it with Todd? And we would laugh. We don't do that anymore, but we did talk about it, and I'm like, Mom, remember whenever we used to say this? She's like, yeah, but we can't let them change everything. That's just us and our dark humor, and it is what it is. They can't have everything, right? Zombies. I love the Cranberries. What they ruined all kinds of damn songs. Hallelujah. Alex singing, oh hell. Stone, oh God, I can't think of the name. Just music. Can't be ruining all that stuff. Pop culture, just pretty much just about everything. Portals. Shit's weird. Some weird stuff, man. And there's portals in closets. I have a thread where Michelle McDermott's talking about it. The war, it came from the war room. Having a altar or whatever, just going and praying in your closet, your prayer closet. I don't know if a portal is that. I don't know if we all just equated a portal to that, but then no, Melanie Gibb did say that. A portal in her closet, which was a zombie email or Reddit email that came out and said that the 3 Nephites told Chad that a beautiful woman would come into his life. One of those Nephites is named Mathoni. Okay, well, they used code names back in Joseph Smith's time. And I mean, that's when I ran across Glenn Beck a long time ago, talking about the White Horse Prophecy, which is the dog whistle that he used in the political sphere, was the Constitution is hanging by a thread. And I mean, Jason ran across it and I was like, they're code words. You know, I was just trying to prove to my community here, like, here, come on, I'm showing you these for instances as I'm learning them, and I don't know how to talk about them. I'm like, and I'm not good at quoting people. I'm not good at, like, I don't speak of the language. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, okay. And this is nerve-wracking, and I'm processing, I'm grieving, I'm learning, cramming, traumatized, just, and it's playing out in real time. I'm also having to be kind of on the ahead. I feel like I've had to be ahead of people so that I don't get sucker punched. I don't know how else to say that. That's what this whole thing has been like for me. I'm like, okay, in my mind, I know this is not rational or logic now. It took me a while to figure that out. I'm like, okay, I just wanted to run ahead of everything and shield my parents and my brother, my family members. I wanted to shield everybody from the pain. As if that's even, you can't do that, you know. I'm just letting you know. I didn't want nobody to hurt, and I'm like, I'll just take one for the team, you know. That's not how grief works. That's not how any of this works. Murder, public media, trials, legalese, Mormonese, social media, networking, just the FOIA. I mean, there's so many elements and layers to this. It's never ending. I don't think this ever ends. But I just want to do it the best justice I can. Me too, Jax. And that's who I was going to talk about tonight. But I kind of took over and hijacked the damn live stream. But we still can, because I have been, you know, I look everywhere. Again, this is what I do. I'm just not good at organizing things. I'm not an organized person. I crave it. I love when other people organize. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. I crave structure. I crave that. But no, especially now, ADD, all these things, all the things I just named and then some. Just making eye contact with this camera makes me feel weird. Doing a pre-record, I'm just like, I'm so awkward. I can't stand talking to something that I can't respond to or reciprocate or communicate with, you know. I'm just like, yeah. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm just here trying to share what I've learned. It's of value. I know I didn't do all this, and I've not been, and I'm not going to continue doing all this just for nothing. Knowledge is power. I have learned so many things about myself. I've learned so many things about how Lori, in her allocution, even, you know, addressed Tammy as her eternal wife. Or I'm sorry, eternal friend, whatever. Same difference, pretty much. How the one thing I don't understand is how, I do. How JJ comes to Lori, and he's a grown up. And I'm just like, but that's just kind of Mormon belief, you know? They believe that you'll go to heaven or their heaven, and, you know, you're just kind of youthful. If only they knew, and this is what I've come to learn. I'm not trying to poke holes in anybody's stuff or tell you that Santa Claus is real or not real, you know? That it's like a wet blanket. I believe in, and again, I'm not trying to get you started, Lee. I want you to settle down. But this whole holding people's salvation as a way and a means of manipulation, as a way of exploitation, of duping them, using them, lying to them, and tricking them. It's the dupe of all dupes. It's the ruse of all ruses. I mean, I'm just like, oh, I was working on I was editing last night, and it was Tim Ballard and Marisol Nichols. You know, she's a Scientologist who did the couple's ruse with Tim. Well, I'd caught a live stream that they did right as all that shit was coming out. And then they took it off, but I think they took the video down, but then put it back up. I think that's what Donna had told me, but I got it. I recorded it, and I mean, I had my snark in there. Well, anyways, I was working on that last night, and I was like, the couple that ruses together loses together. And I'm just silly. I have to make jokes out of things because it's so stupid. A lot of it's stupid, mind-numbing, monotonous, put your ass to sleep. I mean, I've fallen asleep so many times to Mike Stroud, you know, but or just many of these people, you know, just these. I'm just like, oh my God, 7 years ago. What the hell how are you pulling politics, and why is Christopher Columbus in this? You know, and then why y'all call him Nephi? Who the hell's Nephi? Just all these things, and you're just trying to figure out. I look at it like and I hate reading, used to hate reading. Now it's all I do. I love it. I love to read. Turns out just things that I'm interested in. But I forgot where I was going with that. Anyways. Oh. I had a bird come into my house earlier. I had the back door open, and I was like, oh, okay. Hey. Hello, bird. But okay, let me switch to this. We'll read it. Donna, cut me off in 8 minutes, please. We won't go longer than 2 hours. Allegedly. Because I also need to tell you guys about tell you guys about, I think, Tuesday. I haven't even told the mods yet or talked to him about it, but I know that Lori, I'll go ahead and talk about it now. Lori has court, Thursday, I believe, is the 7th, which is the day that Pearl Harbor was bombed, right? Or wait, I think. Okay, yeah, it's Thursday. I don't know because she's in Arizona now. And then again, there's a couple people who live in that area where Lori is, who have nonsense. Her channel, you know, she's from there, and she's like, oh, if you just let me know, and so I need to reach out to her. Trace, you know, she's from the area. Allegedly, I don't want to dox anybody either. You know, there's a couple people. Sue's, I don't know if Sue's got a hold of you or you got a hold of her, Trace. But anyways, I don't know how Justin Lum's going to handle this. You know, he's a totally different journalist, news reporter than Nate Eaton. They're both great, you know, but we're used to it a certain way, in a certain manner. And so now it's just like, okay, well, I don't even know where to go. You know, the other day I was like, well, what are the things? What are the sites? What are the call numbers of the freaking news stations? You know, who's covering this, and what are we going to see? What are we not going to see? Now, Jason told me the other day that Lori had waived one of her appeals in Idaho. And I was like, well, what? Okay, so what? You know, I don't understand this, Jason. And he was like, well, the way he said it, I'm just saying it to you. He saw it as, it's weird and rare. People don't just sign away and waive their right to an appeal. I mean, that's just another chance for them to, you know, find a loophole and get the hell out of jail. Anyways, And so again, I don't know the details about it. I don't know how to explain it to you because he read it. I didn't. And I don't understand all of the things, I'm a little slow in that department for sure. But the way he explained it, yeah, I mean, it made sense. And I was just like, well, that, so I look at it in the grand scheme of things. I'm like, well, so what do you think she's about to, is that plotting into what's happening over here in Arizona? What's that mean for the big picture? That's the questions I ask. What do you think this means? And I wonder if Chad's going to take a plea deal. I wonder. And then I'm like, he's a narcissistic a-hole who thinks that he did nothing wrong. Well, I don't want to say this, but let's see how I can say it. A while back, right before Lori's trial, they were in, I would say, talking, allegedly. I don't know about Chad and Lori. I don't think so. But there were, communications going on between attorneys and stuff. And it seemed like Lori allegedly was more apt to taking a plea deal. Chad, not so much at all. And so that's the mindset then. I don't know what it is now. Jason seems to think, and Jason's my fiance, who, while I was in Idaho, took a practice bar exam because I kept telling him, you need to go take your damn bar exam. Don't give it away. Sell it, right? Make money. Do pro bono. Do something. And because he's just smart as a tack with that. Stroke and everything. But, so, I need to stop sidestepping because I forget what I'm saying. But, oh shit. It'll come to me. I was talking about Chad and Lori, plea deals, and Jason seems to think that like Chad's waiting to maybe talk to Lori. I don't know. Again, I'm not good at quoting people. I'm like, oh, let me go find it so I can say it in their words because I will butcher it up and say it backwards and wrong. And I don't want to misspeak for anybody or, I already give y'all sketchy information, it feels like, because I'm just like, this is so weird and random and I can corroborate it. I can just find where it's happened here, happened here, happened here. I'm good at that. I'm good at names, like people's names. I'm like, wait, who? But don't. And it's so big. This is so huge, it really is. But so, I'm thinking on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we are going to basically, let me get to it so I can talk about it. Move calendar. Damn. It was all up in my way. Okay. And so I don't have it all the way put together. So just don't mind the mess if it's sharing. No, it's not. Okay. All right. Again, it's going to be out of whack. So I was working on it. Look at the colors I picked out. That's green and black. Okay, let me find one that, okay. Oh, this one, it's basically how I told you we were going to do kind of like a replay crew or re-watch crew every week until Chad's trial. We can kind of verse ourselves all over again by watching. Anyways, let me just read this so I don't mess it up too bad. But I wrote it different ways. Preparing for the Chad Daybell trial, a prepper's approach, right? Embark on a journey into the world of true crime with our new series. Join our team of skilled researchers. Let's just say experienced. Layman researchers. Anyways, on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, now X, as we unravel the court case against Chad and Lori Daybell and the tragic murders of innocent souls. This gripping true crime tale is the anticipated event of our series, which is what this will lead us up to. We're going to just kind of, watch the preliminary hearing. That way it's kind of serving as multiple purposes. it allows me to document it and catalog it into one big library, right? Because whenever the case was rolling out and happening in real time, I didn't even know what a link was or a hashtag. I didn't know you could push them and they went to places. Didn't know. Tech dumb. And so, I mean, there was just no way. I didn't know how to do stuff like that. I screen recorded so many things. I'm very tangible. I like to put my hands on physical copies of things. And plus, the 404 scrubbing bubbles were hard at play. And a lot of things were getting scrubbed from the internet, from like Preparing People, Mike Nancy James. I'm sure all kinds of other people. There's a podcast that's out that Chad did 2 days before my uncle was murdered. Anyway, so that's just one way of writing it. And, let's see. I was kind of working on this before. See, this one, you can do this, is what I did magic right. And I can say rewrite it because I don't use aficionados. And I was watching Scott Reich at the same time. I was like, nah. Introducing the true crime series. Join our team of sleuths. Are you a true crime aficionado? Then join our team of investigators as we delve into the nail-biting case against Chad and Lori Daybell. Stay tuned for exclusive access to our new series, where our researchers will reveal all the details of this gripping saga. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, which is now X, to stay up to date with the latest news. Don't miss out on the anticipated. Okay, all right, blah blah blah. I was just kind of trying a few things. This one was like, as the trial of Chad Daybell approaches, we are taking the necessary precautions to be well prepared. This includes revisiting old court hearings that led up to this in true prepper fashion. We understand the gravity of this trial and its implications for the families involved. It is important to approach this with sensitivity and respect for all parties involved. By revisiting old court hearings, we hope to gain a deeper understanding of the events leading up to this trial and be able to present accurate information to our readers. Okay, and put y'all as readers. Which I think I'm going to start writing it on Substack, and Patreon. Accurate information. Okay, leading up to this trial and be able to present accurate information to our readers. Our goal is to provide thorough coverage while maintaining ethical. I'm not a journalist, so I don't know. We hope that the outcome of this trial brings justice to those affected and provides closure for the community, which is just as important, right? See, I have to put a thing behind that. Let me change this to black so it's not so in our face. I think I like the way this one was worded. But basically, I was just trying to work on the flyers, I guess, to not promote it, but to let everybody know so we can post it in our Facebook group. I also have Discord. But it's bare bones right now. And so if anybody is versed in, and can navigate really well in Discord. And if you want to maybe be a moderator there, just, send, if you're interested, it's a non-paying job, but much appreciated. If you can moderate for it or something, but just email me at kresha0123@gmail.com. My email's in the description notes under this video. But as the trial of Chad Daybell approaches, we are taking necessary precautions to be well prepared. This also includes revisiting old court hearings I already read that. Damn. This one was kind of crazy. It says, hold on to your hats, folks. Get ready to be swept off your feet. I was like, that's a bit much. With the thrilling news, Difficult Research is all set to launch their pre-trial restreaming coverage, which is what I've been wanting to do. It's just an idea I had, and it kind of, people who are new, and didn't, weren't here from the beginning, it gives them an opportunity to kind of watch with our community, and we can be in the chat and as we replay it and everything, we can just okay, I just went blank, but revisit it and just kind of analyze it with what we know now. versus what we didn't know back then. Because, gosh, I didn't know a damn thing compared to what I know now. So it's just kind of looking at it through that lens as well. Difficult Research is set to launch their pre-trial restreaming coverage. Brace yourselves for an adventure of a lifetime. I was like, well, that's not good wording. And then it says this new feature by Difficult Research will allow you to watch pre-trial hearings live and have access to recordings of past hearings, which you can get anywhere. But I want to catalog them, right? No need to worry about missing important hearings or not being able to follow proceedings. But this, I mean, I do want to provide this whenever we do go to trial with Chad and Lori again, whatever's in the future. That way I can catalog it, and that way, you know, if I am at the trial in person, then we're just trying to, we know kind of what to prepare for now because we went through it with Lori, and so I feel a lot more comfortable and kind of a heads up, kind of know what to expect. It's crazy. Anyways. With pretrial restreaming, you can stay up to date with the latest developments in the legal world. This is a game changer. I don't know about all that. For legal professionals, law students, and anyone interested in the justice system. Don't miss out on the exciting opportunity to witness history in the making. Stay tuned for more updates on the relaunch date and how to access pretrial restreaming. So it gives us also, see, I was working on the dates too. Let me move this. Delete. Oh, hell. Okay, I know I need to hurry because running out of time. If I hadn't already. Okay, yeah, I was making like I kind of make a couple things that way. Join the new crime. Oh my gosh. Join the new true crime series and get, I don't know, I think that's a misspelled word. Youth. Our difficult researcher team on YouTube and Facebook, and follow us on Twitter, now X, to replay the court case against both Chad and Lori Vallow Daybell. Okay. To replay the court case against both Chad and Lori Daybell has been researchers. Okay, that's one I was working on and jacking up. Just different ways of writing it. And so I got to change all this stuff and match it to what I'm trying to get at. But we're just going to basically be one big replay crew. We're going to watch it together. It's going to allow me to revisit it and actually experience it with you guys, because I don't know. I just kind of watched it wherever, all the time. I've watched it so many times. It's unreal. Jason had just had a thoracotomy, and then, when Lori first went to the court, then I made it there for whenever she became competent again. So that was in April of 2021. That was my first time being there and seeing her in person. I had gone to Rexburg like in January of 2021, but that one had been canceled. That hearing had been canceled, and that's whenever Means was trying to get Rob Wood DQ'd, or kicked off the case. So anyways, yeah. See, and I got to put this in scheduling. So I talked to Jason. I was like, well, I don't even know how many per week I need to do, because we've got to go through all the important things and the pretrial stuff for Chad. Not so much the little hearings, but maybe the more significant ones, and just watch those together. And then I want to start on I don't know if we should do the jury selection with Lori. I can't do that again. It's so, I can listen to Mike Stroud and all kinds of shit. I can't listen to jury questions, but again, maybe we can pick out the important highlights or something. Because I know jurors' roles are very, very, very important. Very appreciated. Loved the guy, the juror that was on Hidden True Crime with Lauren and John the other night. I was actually in that chat. So was Mom. And anyways, but and he's writing a book, and I need to get all his links and everything, all his information. That way I can share his nonprofit organization. And the book he is writing is called Money, Power, Sex. I was like, that is the right. I've thought about it too, but yeah, no, I mean, I fully support any of the jurors that had to watch and go through this stuff. But it's so interesting to get their opinions and how they saw it through their lens, not like me, not like you, not, you know what I mean? Just totally brand new to it, almost, or basically, or, you know, maybe saw a picture or something of her. But anyway, so I was thinking Tuesdays and Thursdays, but then I was like, well, she has court this Thursday. So do I go ahead and schedule one for this Thursday and just, unless I find out that she does have, you know, we're going to be able to watch it somewhere, or do we just kind of hang out, watch preliminary hearing for a chat or something on Thursday as well? And if something comes through or down the pipe, then we can kind of break through into that. I don't know. Let me know. And I haven't changed all this stuff out yet, but I was thinking in the afternoons, hopefully, if that's okay for everybody, you know, we can get that truck a looking. And I don't know. I just think it'll give us something to do. And it also, and not that we don't have anything to do. I know a lot of us have jobs, and I'm always trying to put things together, but I'm just not that type of person. I don't have an organized brain, so I spin my wheels most of the time. But it's nice to actually know what I'm going to be doing, and it's just kind of, you know, it's nothing. It's not like a fly ball or a left hook, like everything has always been, you know. So let me know what you think, and I'll go ahead and schedule the one for Tuesday. We'll do a live stream Tuesday, maybe at like I'm gonna have to see how long it is first. Maybe we can do it in the afternoon. I don't know. Okay, so this tab right here, I'll share this with you guys another time because we don't have time. But I love this. It's a Mormon subreddit, and this is by Devil's Ravioli, who's really good at putting these things together, these people. So I'll just read right here, and then you're more than welcome to go and visit and join the subreddit. It's posted by Devil's Ravioli. Inspiration moved me brightly 2 months ago. Visions of a glorious thread. Okay. The Krogue, Meldrum, Harrison, Hildebrandt, Daybell, Rowe, Russon, Ballard connection. Not to mention their sister organizations, OUR, EternalCore, Liberty 89, Visions of Glory, AVAL, Preparing a People, Firm, CNF, Children Need Families, right? I'm going to go ahead and add Book of Mormon Evidence, the Heartland Theory. You've got so many people. Okay, there's just so many people. There's Latter Day Media. All their all their .coms and their NPOs and their 501c3s. Every one of them. They're great at putting those things together. Disclaimer, a generous participant of our sub gave me their notes and firsthand experience concerning this subject. In an effort not to dox themselves, they gave me permission to post on the matter. Note, I have significantly expanded on what they provided, and any omissions are mine alone. Below is my summary. Note that Chino Blanco, y'all remember the names Devil's Ravioli and Chino Blanco from whenever Lauren, Mindy, and Megan appeared on Mormon Stories podcast and did this justice. Okay. And so they were sure to cite them and credit them for, you know, helping put this information together. I do too. I so appreciate them. Okay, so note that Chino Blanco has already shared pivotal pieces of evidence needed to establish this thread. Refer to his profile for more discussion on individual pieces of the puzzle. On 9/29/2023, Tim Ballard shared a short clip on Twitter from a Ward radio live stream. This is Ward Radio. Used to be Midnight Mormons. Carden Ellis has taken significant time hunting down statements from those around Tim to address the current scandal. And this is, of course, months ago, right? Carden in the live stream shared a statement made to him by Ken Krogue in defense of Tim Ballard. And so Ken Krogue is the current president and chief managing officer. I think that's what that stands for. CMO of the Spear Fund, which is Tim Ballard's other freaking anti-sex trafficking. He's still pushing it, okay? And has a long and fascinating history of business ventures. That he does. He also has my uncle, and he has a playlist named Chad Daybell on his YouTube channel. On his YouTube, channel. He also has Gordon Bowen. Three videos from Gordon Bowen about soiled my pants. Whenever I saw that live, I was like, oh my god, because that ties to that's all goes in with that satanic ritual abuse case from the 90s that David Hamblin he's a Mormon therapist who was using allegedly using peyote and hallucinogenics and stuff in his therapy practices. He even told this guy, allegedly, another person that is that there's charges, allegations, whatever against them, and the guy's name is Brett Bluth. He appeared on Fox 13 News, and I really like this dude, but I just like his attitude, And so what it does is it corroborates the abuse allegations and these horrendous stories of like Gordon Bowen. I'm talking like Hannibal Lecter shit, okay? Just take my word for it. And it's disturbing, okay? There's allegations of Gordon Bowen who was, I actually have heard two sources that have said that Gordon Bowen, who I'm calling Hannibal Lecter pretty much, okay? And he was Apostle M. Russell Ballard's right-hand dude, gave him $20 million. The church did, paid him $20 million to come up with that Jesus Christ icon or whatever brand, the logo, $20 million. He also worked on the Olympics, which, the Olympics are allegedly going back to Utah, soon, the next time they roll this way. And Gordon Bowen, he worked these major corporations and stuff. And the church excommunicated him twice, Gordon Bowen. And that's also M. Russell Ballard's late wife, Barbara Bowen Ballard. Okay, so she died back in October, a year before President M. Russell Ballard died, just last month, so it's weird and freaky and a lot of parallels. Okay, it's too close for comfort, especially when I look at it in the context of how Tylee and JJ were treated, how they were murdered, how Tylee was cut up into pieces. On the indictment, it stated that it was for religious beliefs espoused. There's a lot of people that refute that and say it had nothing to do with beliefs, and I'm like, it says it in the damn indictment, okay? And that's all you hear is beliefs, okay? Of course, everybody's entitled to their own opinions. I don't share that one. Beliefs drive people. I do believe, and I believe also. I suspect. I don't know. I question that through this like-minded circle of people, and you really got to think about this. I've had so many people discount and dismiss me whenever I've asked. It goes high, or whenever I've stated this goes higher up. This goes to the very top. What that means, how I get there, how it got there, I don't know. I didn't have those answers then, but I know a lot of you guys have been able to see as it has as the Tim Ballard saga, the lawsuits and everything, Sean Reyes, all the people, all the players, the sketch group of people who were backed by the church and are members and good members of the church, and they birds of a feather flock together. Like-minded people, like-minded uh, vision. You know what I mean? Like it's important for them to surround themselves with material things and to have a nonprofit or 8 in their back pocket. And 501c3 gives you a tax exempt status. Then you got to pay 10% to the church. So ultimately, the church benefits from all of this. I often wonder if Chad had to pay 10% of his life insurance money that he received from Tammy's murder. These things go through my mind. Like, I mean, and it's none of my business, but like when Brandon Boudreaux sued the Garrett Smith, those sleazy attorneys over there, in my opinion, and from Arizona, who are also Mormon. I mean, he is for sure. Anyways, for slander, $12 million. Now, will he get it? Will Brandon actually collect that money, or is that just going to be like, I owe you? Because that's a lot of money. And Garrett lost his license for a while, as he should, so I don't want to slander him, I don't know. Trying to be a little careful here. But, I wonder if, let's just say, Garrett Smith wrote Brandon Boudreaux a check right now for $12 million. Let's just pretend. Does Brandon then have to give the church 10% of that? I mean, doesn't that bother y'all? It reminds me of how the church, we learned they were under investigation from the SEC, and turns out they hadn't reported, their stocks, money invested, and it was in the billions. It was 100 billion, 132 billion, I believe. And they were hiding it not only from their membership, but also from every other person who depends on this, the health of the stock exchange, like the stock market. And when you're not reporting how much money you are funneling, in my opinion, laundering, misappropriating into a shell company, 13 to be exact, shell companies. Go read the indictment on the sec.gov for yourself. And the investigation started into the church in 2019 on that. That was 2 other whistleblowers, the Nielsen brothers. Much respect to them. I mean, it takes balls to stand up to this church. Mark Means tried doing it. He got DQ'd and a gag order. I'm not saying I like his client or who he represented. I did reach out to him while I was in Boise, and I just kind of was like, look, you don't have to answer me. I don't want any direct questions. Or answers. I don't want anything that will jeopardize anything. And so I didn't even ask him anything about Lori. I just was asking about my theory, just about more people being involved and further up. And he responded in a very professional, ethical manner, respectful. And he said that I'm definitely on the right path. And I was just like, oh my God. I really wanted to be wrong. I really do. I don't want to be right. But this is where my heart, my soul, my gut, everything, everything that I read and learn about it hasn't brought me, away from where I'm at right now. Obviously, we're here. And as these other cases play out, which should have played out in Lori and Chad's investigation, the investigation into Lori and Chad, in my opinion, I don't know if they just micro compartmentalize. They're like, oh, no, because they haven't even held, the people in their inner circle, so to speak, which really aren't. They're just other members of the church who I believe are allegedly, possibly, I suspect, in my little theory, in my little world over here, where I'm alive. I don't wish to die. I'm not feeling like hurting myself. I'm not depressed. I'm saying this for insurance purposes, okay? I don't want to be murdered. I had a Jesus card show up in my living room on my living room floor with the church's name on the damn business card. Jesus on one side, party in the front. No, I'm just speaking. But Jesus, that's what caught my attention. I was in the kitchen and I looked over. I live in a shoddy trailer, okay? Over here in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and they had to travel. We don't have a temple here. We don't have Mormon churches here. We do now. But at that point, they had to drive an hour and 15 minutes unless they rode the bicycles. But they should have came when we had trees to cut down and shit from the hurricane. Just, you know, I was sleeping and Jason left to bring the boys to, do the kid exchange for their mom, with their mom for her week parenting time. And I was asleep, but he forgot to lock the door, and that's freaky. And it had my name, with the name I used to sign up to the website, the genealogy website. Actually, no, I'm sorry. The actual church website, because you had to I thought you had to sign on to look at, I just wanted to read the damn Book of Mormon. I wanted to learn about Mormonism straight up. But I wrote my name as, thank God, but it doesn't matter now. But I wrote my middle name, which is K-A-Y, and I wrote the last name of my divorce, the husband I divorced. So, and it said, hi, Kay. It's the missionaries. I hope all is well. Give us a call. And they 409 number, which is Southeast Texas. And I live in the Hill of the Boot of Louisiana. So I mapped it. It shouldn't have been in my house. I don't care, for whatever reasons. It had my name on it, or the name I used to sign up to it. And 3 members of my family are dead. And my mom's on the hit list. So call me over reacting. Call me what you will. I just want to be able to answer the phone when you do call me, okay? I don't take anybody for granted. I don't want to become complacent. It's freaky. It's scary, and people kill for their beliefs. And I'm not saying they will. People kill for what they believe in, obviously. And it's scary because somebody might feel threatened by me, or whatever reason. Maybe I'm just, the squeaky wheel gets oiled, gets greased. And again, they own a lot of Google here, and I get shadow banned a whole lot. But whatevs. Still get up and go, right? But anyways, we're gonna go on that. Oh my God, I went way over 2 hours. But it was therapeutic for me. I gotta go get my haircut. Any questions or comments or suggestions? We have a suggestion box. We really don't. Just kidding. Oh, yeah. And God bless those who are foster parents and aren't doing it for the new accessory or to get, you know what I mean, Lori. It's like JJ was a new purse to get sympathy or persecution. Just, I'm the victim, that kind of thing. They will hijack it. I'm telling you. But it's in that in between. It's in the in between, and it's thin, but it's like I look like Carrot Top minus the red. I like our research schedule. I do too. So let's kick it in now. Enforce it. I need you to be the enforcer in this ritual cult. Right? No, nobody needs to be the damn punisher. We don't need a Gordon Bowen on our hands. Oh my God. Anyways, it puts lotion on its skin just screams. But yeah, Ken Krogue had Gordon Bowen, Chad Daybell, but it had, the body cam footage of my uncle, and it triggered me. There's 11 videos. He was keeping up with the case. In the same circles. They speak at the same events. People were like, Chad and Lori, y'all don't know how many times I've heard that Chad and Lori are peons. I get it. I'm like, I can't tell you how they did or what happened. I just know at first it was like, they can't get into the temple and do that. Then, thank you, Melanie Gibb. She's like, well, yeah, they were in the temple and they sealed, but it was not in the sealing room. Very to the letter of the law. Very, very, I forget the word today. It's semantics. You gotta be specific. Lori says that no one was murdered in this case. In her mind, that's how she justifies it. They were not. They were sacrificed. For what? Money, power, sex. That I believe they were promised or duped into something. Somebody requires sacrificing children. I don't know, but I'm here to ask the questions, and I'm here to look anywhere and everywhere possible so that the story can tell itself. Because when people tell it with their spin on it, and I know that a heart, but it's like, this is where I feel compelled. Something's pushing, and it's like something I'm waiting on, some stuff, something to break open, and like it has been. I mean, a lot of people didn't draw the connections between Tom Harrison and Visions of Glory, and it wasn't only under Lori's leg when she got served, she got served in Kauai. Zombie slayers, yes, ma'am. Zombie killers, yeah. It wasn't only on her person then. When you and I can share that with you. I can do a short little video on it or something. But whenever we got the pictures in from the FOIA docs from my uncle's murder, right, from Chandler, and you look at there's one they forgot to blur out, and oh my god, it triggered me. And then I went live. It was a long time ago, and I was just like, I was so used to seeing it with the blur. I know his body was under there, but it just was. I was not expecting that. It's crazy. But one of those pictures were, yeah. So, I mean, it's just like all inside the Chandler, Arizona home where my uncle was murdered. And how Jason is he suspects that from what he read from it, and me too. I mean, but he was like really bothered. It hurts, The first shot that when that struck Uncle Charles from Alex's pew pew was while Charles would be standing up. The second one, and with bruises and kind of some stuff, abrasions on my uncle's knees. Maybe he had to beg for his life, or maybe execution kind of style ish, but it kind of struck the floor. So Jason seems to believe that maybe, I don't know why they made him, or somebody made him get on his knees. If that happened, I don't know. It's so weird to talk about. I don't want to talk about it right now. But it's just sad. Did he beg for his life? And I mean, did Lori pull the trigger? We'll never know, because they never swab their damn hands, because she's I love how the Penzone, I think that's his last name, or yeah, the new sheriff in town, Arizona, said that we treat her just like any other dangerous suspect, suspect. I think that's what he said. And he was like, we could judge her by her looks, her size, you know. And I was like, you better put that in there. They're changing though. That to me shows, I mean, even if they're just talking, you'll see it in actions. You know, when the talking and the actions don't line up, they don't match, and you see a lot of talking but no action to back that up, that's when we have problems, which we have that in the church a lot. So hopefully the actions and thus far, ever since they dropped the ball with, you know, you know what I mean, in the investigation, hopefully, and I mean, not just to make up for it, but just to do their jobs with ethic, you know, just being ethical, honest, truthful, no botching, no corners cut. You do the things. That's what you're paid to do, you know? That's it. No, nothing more, nothing less. Nothing that I wouldn't expect, you know, that I wouldn't do on my own. You know, I would never ask anybody to do anything that I wouldn't do myself next to them. Right there, we'll do it together. But hopefully that's a sign of change. And I mean, to me, change is the best apology one can ever offer, give, show. Show me that you've changed. To me, it goes way further than just words, which are empty a lot of times. Anyways, I love you guys. So yeah. And I did a whole video on Reyes, but my microphone was just a popping. So I was like, I deleted the whole damn thing. Waste of time. I did it after a live stream, 4 hours. And then I did like a whole another hour. Oh, just throw it away. But I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me just go on and on and on. But I do appreciate you, and I value and I have a lot of gratitude for you allowing me to have a soft place to land. I don't want to be around yes men. I want to hear what you think. I want to hear if, you know, I'm way off over here. There's nothing wrong with, you know, a reality check. Nothing wrong with that. Hear me out. I hear you out. We all have a piece of this, you know? So, love always wins. You guys are proof of this. Justice for Tylee Trolls, Tammy, JJ, and Joe. Bye. See you Tuesday. See you next Tuesday.